Hello, good morning students. I am Binod Mandal from Woodbine Modern School, Darbhanga. Today I will discuss Chapter 2 Computer Languages. In this chapter I will discuss program and programming concepts, machine language, assembly language, high level language, fourth generation language. Now let's start. My dear students, first, you try to know what is language. Language is a medium to express our views and feelings. To communicate with a computer, we need a language that a computer understands. A computer needs stepwise instructions to perform any action. Dear students, I am going to give an example that a person came from Bengal and he is Bengali. He doesn't know Hindi and I do not know Bengali. So how will communicate with him? If I want to communicate with him, then I have to learn Bengali. Then only communicate with him. In this way, if we want to communicate with a computer, then we have to learn computer language. Are you getting my points? Okay. Now, what is program? A program is a set of instructions that tells the computer what to do. The process of writing specific instructions in a computer language is called programming. Each programming language has its own specific rules. The evolution of programming language has made it easier for programmers to write powerful application programs. The development of computer language has been classified into the following categories. Okay, students, a program is a set of instructions that tells the computer what to do. And what is programming? The process of writing specific instructions in a computer language is called programming. And students, do you know that each programming language has its own specific rules? Each programming has its own specific rules. The evolution of programming language has made it easier to programmers to write powerful application programs. Are you getting my point? Machine language, first generation language. Machine language is the only language that computer understand. It is expressed in binary form 0s and 1s, where 0 means off state and 1 means on state. Machine language has the advantage of very high speed and very low memory utilization. Understanding and learning machine language is a tough and time-consuming process. It is very difficult to write and debug programs written in machine language. It is extremely machine dependent. That is why machine language is also regarded as low-level language, that is LLL. LL means low-level language. A machine language program written on one computer may or may not run on another computer. Because of this, very few people opt for specialization in machine language. Here, students, machine language is the only language that computer understands. It is expressed in binary form 0 and 1. 0 means off and 1 means on. Machine language has the advantage of very high speed and very low memory utilization. Speed was very high. And understanding and learning machine language is a tough and time-consuming process. It is also very difficult to write and debug programs written in machine language. As you know, students, it is extremely machine dependent. That is why machine language is also regarded as low level language, that means LLL. A machine language program written on one computer may or may not run on another computer. Because of this, very few people opt for specialization in machine language. Then next, assembly language, second generation language. This language uses mnemonic codes or symbols in place of 0 and 1. As I discussed, that in machine language we are using 0 and 1, but in assembly language, in place of 0 and 1, we are using mnemonic codes or symbols. For example, if the operation code for add is 0010 in binary language, it can be directly written as add in. Assembly language, since assembly language uses symbolic codes, it is easier to work with assembly language than in binary language. As it is evident that a computer can understand only machine language, so assembly language programs have to convert it into machine language. Translator programs known as assemblers were developed to convert the assembly language program into machine language. A program written in assembly language is called the source program, whereas the program converted into machine language by the assembler is called object program or object code. Like machine language, assembly language is also machine dependent, and programming in this language is quite time consuming. It is also regarded as low level language, LLL. Here in this language, in assembly language, it is easier to work with assembly language than in binary language. High level language, third generation language. High level language is better than first generation and second generation. Some features are given here. Simple and user friendly language, language that is machine independent. Owing to the above mentioned features, it becomes easy to learn and use the computer languages. A large number of people started writing computer programs using these third generation languages. These are also known as high level languages, HLL. A high level language is quite similar to the English language, Basic, C, C++, Java, etc. are some examples of high level languages. And high level languages are very popular. High level language programs need to be translated into machine language by using the translator programs. A translator program is used to convert a high level language program into machine language. There are two types of translator programs which are as follows. Okay students, there are two types of translator program. Interpreter. An interpreter translates line by line, executes the instruction and then repeats the procedure for the remaining instructions. If any errors are found, they are to be removed immediately, as the converted form is not stored anywhere. So it has to be generated at the time of the execution of a program. Interpreter programs are prepared for beginners and are slow in execution speed. I am going to give an example. Suppose the French president is visiting India on an official tour. In order to understand each other, both the French president and the Indian Prime Minister would require an interpreter to translate the French language into the English language. So here, interpreter translate line by line, whereas compiler translate the whole program at once. Now, a compiler is a translator program used to convert a high-level language program into machine language. It translates the whole program at once. It generates the objects code for the program along with the list of errors. The execution speed of a compiler is faster as compared to an interpreter. That means compiler is faster than interpreter. Interpreter translate line by line, whereas compiler translate whole program at once. Understood? Fourth generation language, 4GL. GL means generation language. Fourth generation languages are closer to human language than other high level language. That means fourth generation is better than first generation language, second generation language and third generation language. Fourth generation languages are combination of languages with the following features: highly user-friendly and independent of any operating system, very high speed of execution, designed to reduce the level of programming efforts, minimum efforts from the user to obtain any information, designed to reduce time and the cost of software development. In 4GL, the user has to specify only the required output they want, while the computer determines the sequence of instructions that will accomplish those results. Here, we can say that in fourth generation language, very high speed is very high, and minimum efforts from the user to obtain any information. The cost of software development in 4GL, the user has to specify only the required output they want, while the computer determines the sequence of instructions that will accomplish those results. Accomplish means fulfill. Now, features of machine language. Uses binary codes to depict operators and data. Machine dependent, the only language directly understood by a computer. Then assembly. Uses mnemonic codes or symbols instead of binary numbers. Machine dependent, has to be converted into machine language by translator programs. High level. Features of high-level languages: uses English words and mathematical operators. Machine independent, has to be converted into machine language by translator programs, interpreter and compiler. 4GL, fourth generation language. Machine independent, minimal user skills required to obtain results. Application development tool.